Okay, today we're going to do Cyrillus Luchar, and that's Cyrillus, Luchar, Luchar, and he was a Greek patriarch. This is Antiquity Unveiled, page 114, and here is his spirit testimony. Sir, the vicissitudes of life are great both in the mortal and spirit condition. No more ardent follower of Jesus Christ ever appeared upon this planet than I was. But my prospect, my hopes, my realization as a spirit have all been blasted. By what? By the non-realization of what I expected. All this is sad to think of, and far better is it for me to return from the spirit world and state my actual realization of spirit life to all people, so that none can be deceived. Vain is that hope that rests upon another's merits. Cultivate the purity of your own mortal spirit, and rely upon nothing but a determination to do right. Oh, sir, if I had today 1,000 tongues, and as many transmigrations as the Buddha of old, I should ever aim to teach the truth and realities of a spirit life as I know them to be. Honesty in religion is no proof of its truth. Christianity has caused more blood to flow, more widows to weep, and more children to be fatherless than have all other religions on earth today. I ask, can infinite love conceive deeper infamy than Christianity has brought to this planet? Millions of ruined souls in the afterlife, and untold numbers on earth weep when they reach the finality of common sense and reason over what they have reaped from the teachings of Christianity. Oh, my heart is sad today. I feel the weight of the years that have elapsed since I left the mortal state, and would ask mankind to pause and reflect now, for the time will come when it will be far more difficult to act as a spirit than it is now for them to act as mortals. Christianity is not from the Jews, but from the Greeks. It is a combination of the Platonic and Alexandrian doctrines, with the doctrines of Apollonius of Tyana, the Syrian Christ, about 32 years after the birth of the alleged Christ. Out of these, together with the forged letter to the Roman Emperor Trajan from Pliny the Younger, AD 103, has grown Christianity. Deny these facts who can. In the British Museum Library Department, you will find that I, Cyrillus, Patriarch of Alexandria, sent a copy of the scriptures known as the Alexandrian manuscript by Sir Thomas Roe to Charles I, King of England, and that manuscript was transcribed from the writings of Ptolemy of Alexandria about the year 475 by Thesla, an Egyptian lady, and out of that transcribed copy has their celebrated Alexandrian manuscript grown, as anyone will find to be true who will examine into the historical facts of the ease, and they are indisputable by the advocates of Christianity. I would say in conclusion, let the light of truth shine, and let it drive away all darkness from the human mind. Cyrillus Luchar, Patriarch of Constantinople. End of quotes. That was Cyrillus, and I'm going to just read his comments here. Cyrillus Luchar was a Greek patriarch of Constantinople, noted for his efforts to introduce into his church the doctrines of the Reformed Calvinistic churches. He was born about 1568 in Candia, which at that time was under the sovereignty of Venice and the chief seat of Greek scholarship. In 1602, Cyrillus succeeded Meletius, Meletius, as Patriarch of Alexandria. After the death of Timotheus, Patriarch of Constantinople, he was elected his successor by a unanimous vote of the Synod. His life as Patriarch was full of vicissitudes. The Jesuits, in union with agents of France, several times procured his banishment, while his friends, supported by ambassadors of Protestant powers in Constantinople, obtained by means of large sums of money his recall. His attempts to Protestantize his church created many enemies against him in the Greek church, and in 1638 a synod convened at Constantinople to try him. But before sentence was pronounced upon him, the Janissaries, Janissaries, arrested him by order of the government, carried him to a boat, strangled him, and cast the corpse into the sea. Some friends found the corpse and buried it on an island, and 10 years later a solemn funeral was held at Constantinople. In view of the facts connected with the communication of Cyrillus, we deem it one of the most remarkable and important that has ever come from any spirit since the dawn of modern spiritualism. The positive identification it affords of the origin of the so-called Christian Bible is so nearly perfect as only to require such collateral facts as are written within reach to render it absolute and beyond question. The source and nature of the Alexandrian manuscript of the British Museum is so clearly stated by the spirit of Cyrillus as to leave no doubt that he had positive knowledge of the truth of his statement in regard to Potamon the Alexandrian, having been the author of the original writings of which the Alexandrian manuscript was a transcribed copy. It therefore becomes more and more clear that no man, nor man-God, such as Jesus Christ, ever had anything to do with the Holy Bible, as has been erroneously supposed and wrongly insisted on. We're going to refer to the Encyclopedia Britannica for the history of the celebrated Alexandrian manuscript, which will show the material correctness of this communication. It is no wonder that the giving of that communication was so cunningly resisted by inferring priestly spirits through the earlier part of that sitting. The same Jesuits who, in the interests of the Roman Catholic Church, sought the ruin and death of Cyrillus, because he was possessed of the dread secret of the entirely human origin of the Christian religion, might well fear the disclosure of that returning spirit. Hence their manifest attempt to prevent its being given, or to so couple it with deceptive communications as to cause it to be discredited. But in spite of all opposition, the great secret is out and recorded. After reading the history of the celebrated Alexandrian manuscript in the Encyclopedia Britannica, we can readily understand why the Christian critics of the Church of England in this age seek to conceal the source of the Christian Bible. Why did not the learned Tregelles, Tregelles, tell us how the name of Thecla, Thecla, the martyred Egyptian lady, came to be associated with the Alexandrian manuscripts by being placed upon the margin of the codex? Who placed it there? Why was it placed there? When was it placed there? Is it there in characters executed by a different hand than the body of the codex? Is the ink different? Is there any appearance whatever of difference in the age of the writing of the name of Thecla and the writing of the body of MS. Who is Thecla? When did she live? Why was she martyred? Who martyred her? Why was she canonized by the Greek Church? When was she canonized by that church? When these most natural questions are answered, it will appear that shrewd conjecture of Tregelles is an absurdity, and that the Latin inscription of Cyrillus is certain to demonstration. But apart from these unanswered questions, we have the spirit of Cyrillus coming back and communicating through an almost unlettered medium, not only that Thecla, the Egyptian lady, transcribed the Alexandrian MS, but that she did it about 475, the period which paleographical criticism and analysis assigned to its production, making known the most important fact of all, that his noble Egyptian lady transcribed that manuscript from the writings of Potamon. It is hardly possible, if spiritualism is true, that the spirit of Cyrillus should not have met the spirit of the canonized Egyptian Thecla, and thus learned beyond all peradventure the nature of the writings that the latter described. Those writings were, then, undoubtedly, those of Potamon. In view of the fact that Cyrillus, in his Latin inscription on the Codex, mentions that Thecla lived shortly after the Council of Nice, and that she transcribed Potamon's writings, we can readily understand that the cause of her martyrdom. She knew that which the Roman Catholic priesthood could not afford to have the world know, and that was that Potamon was the author of the teachings that they had corruptly attributed to a deific man called Jesus, who had nothing whatever to do with them. Thecla, the learned and noble woman, paid the penalty of her erudition with her life. All right, and that was Cyrillus Luchar, pages 114 to 117, Antiquity Unveiled.